From NBC News, this is Today with Katie Couric and Matt Lauer. Live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
Thanks, Al. Well, if you're planning to take your family to an amusement park this summer, listen up. This weekend, a 7-year-old girl died while riding an attraction called the Mind Scrambler at Rye Playland in New York State. It was the second death at an amusement park this month. Jerry Aldrich is the president of Amusement Industry Consulting, and Kathy Fackler, whose son was injured on a roller coaster, is founder of the advocacy group Safer Parks. Good morning to you both. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Jerry, let me start with you. As we mentioned, this was the second fatal accident in a month. The first, obviously, was Stanley Modorsky. He's a 55-year-old with cerebral palsy. He was killed on a Superman ride at the Six Flags in Massachusetts on May 1st. Your job is to consult parks for their safety. What has happened in the amusement park industry, and why are we already seeing 2 deaths when that is already the average for a year?
There's not a clear-cut answer. There's a lot of different things. I think the same procedures are in place, the same safety training is in place. There were both very unusual instances that happen, as an accident is.
What, in your opinion, is not being done, though, correctly?
In these 2 cases, I'm sure it will turn out to be two very totally different things. Reasons for it. The training procedures are well taught. The signage is at the rides, and we certainly need a partnership in safety to have everyone, the guests as well as the owners and the operators of the rides, participate in a safe.
Kathy, let me turn to you now. As we mentioned, your son, in fact, was injured on one of these rides 6 years ago, and you therefore founded the group Safer Parks. What do you think is not being done at these amusement park rides, and what do you propose to try to make a change to make the rides safer?
Well, for the last 5 years, I've been proposing that this industry come up with child safety standards for amusement rides. There still aren't any, and each year I go to the industry standards meetings and we talk about it, and not much happens. I've tried to talk with Congress about having some kind of federal oversight on design.
Kathy, we'll talk about the federal oversight issue in a moment, but I want to ask you, I mean, there are height requirements already in place. Don't those height requirements already address some of the issues there?
You're going to see in any kind of bell curve, you're going to see more people being ejected at the high end. The man who was killed a couple weeks ago was overweight, and we've seen the lap restraints don't always work for overweight riders. Also, you see most of the ejections at the lower end. Tall, skinny children may easily meet the height limit, but there's nothing on certain kinds of lap restraints to fit closely against them.
Kathy brings up an interesting issue about the weight issue. Jerry, should there be weight restrictions in place?
I think that the rides are designed for like Kathy said, on a bell curve, the 95th percentile of people and age groups that we're trying to get to protect. But there's a lot of issues that go into the safe design of a restraint system, and it's the ride itself, the accelerations, the lateral movements that a person will be involved with, and also the size of the people is part of it.
And Kathy, quickly, let me go back to you because you addressed the bill that is now in Congress, this proposed by Ed Markey, the congressman from Massachusetts. This has stalled in Congress over the last couple of years, due in part to the influence of the amusement park industry. But why do you think federal oversight is necessary?
Well, when you see trends like overweight riders in certain types of lap restraints are being ejected, or again, the smallest children are being ejected, those incidents, if they're addressed at the state level at all, and not all states have regulation, if they're addressed at all, they're only solved locally to that ride. So the New York regulators, for example, can go in and require a change to that one particular ride. But I've got a whole stack of accident reports from across the country from the past several years with young children coming out
Kathy.
of a one-size-fits-all restraint.
Sorry to interrupt there, but we're out of time. Kathy Fakler, Jerry Aldrich, thank you both so much. Appreciate it.